Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're tackling something that is quite literally reshaping the way we work, learn, and honestly, the way we think. I mean, we're suddenly swimming in a sea of effortless AI-generated information, aren't we? It is absolutely everywhere. But today, we're going to explore why, despite all this mind-blowing tech, your most valuable asset isn't the software you're using. It's your own human cognition.
It's the million-dollar question keeping a lot of people up at night. Every few months, AI blows past another crazy milestone. It writes essays, generates complex code, paints masterpieces, and even passes professional exams like the bar. Meanwhile, I'll be honest, sometimes I literally forget my own zip code. So naturally, you've got to look at this and ask, what skills actually still matter if an AI can do almost everything for me? Well, the answer definitely isn't typing faster or memorizing more trivia.
Section 1. The Calculator Paradox. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what we're going through right now. To figure out what skills still matter, we kind of need to look backwards. Think back to when electronic calculators first hit the scene. People panicked, right? They thought mathematicians were completely doomed because manual arithmetic was suddenly automated. But calculators didn't replace mathematicians. They just took over the tedious grunt work, which freed up humans to tackle much higher-level math theories. AI is doing the exact same thing right now, just with raw information. It won't replace human thinkers. It just changes the baseline of what we spend our brain power on.
Just to put that raw processing power into perspective, let's look at the number 500. An AI can take a dense 500-page book and spit out a comprehensive summary in seconds. It can explain quantum physics to you like you're 5 years old, translate a whole document into a dozen languages, or draft a business proposal literally before you've taken your first sip of coffee. When it comes to raw speed, we just can't compete. But here's the liberating truth. We don't have to.
Section 2. Information versus human judgment.
Since AI can effortlessly generate all this conversational information, our job as humans totally shifts. We go from being creators of information to evaluators of it. The value of simply knowing basic facts is plummeting. Why? Because an AI's primary job is to generate incredibly confident answers, extremely fast. But confidence is absolutely not the same thing as accuracy. Imagine asking a chatbot for high-stakes investment advice or a medical diagnosis. It's going to sound super sure of itself. The human's job is to step in, check that accuracy, and exercise real judgment.
So what does that judgment actually look like when you're sitting at your desk? Well, it acts like a mental checklist. When you see an AI's output, you've got to instinctively ask, okay, does this actually make logical sense? Is there real hard evidence backing this up? What underlying assumptions is this AI even making here? And could there be an entirely different explanation? A highly confident response from an AI does not guarantee it's right. Asking these tough questions, that's the core of human judgment.
Section 3. Knowing versus understanding.
To have that good judgment, you really need a solid foundation. And right now, there's this massive illusion of competence going on, especially with students. Think about plugging a tricky physics problem into an AI. It spits out the perfect answer instantly, you read it over, and you think, awesome, I get it. But if the numbers on the test change tomorrow, could you actually solve it? You see, true understanding isn't passive. It's about actively retrieving, connecting, and applying info to build lasting neural pathways in your brain. Reading a brilliant AI explanation might feel super productive, but cognitive science tells us real learning requires friction. It requires the actual, sometimes frustrating struggle of pulling information out of your own head.
We need to contrast that deep understanding with superficial knowing. Knowing is just recognizing a correct answer when the AI hands it to you on a silver platter. You see it, you nod, you move on. But understanding, that's not a file an AI can just download into your brain with a USB cable. Actually, scratch that. It's more like building a house. You have to lay the bricks yourself, actively building that cognitive architecture. If you let the AI do all the heavy lifting, you only ever know the answer for a fleeting moment. You never truly understand it at a foundational level.
Section 4. Memory as your superpower.
There's this dangerous modern myth floating around that human memory doesn't matter anymore, just because we all carry an AI in our pocket that remembers everything for us. But the flaw there is pretty obvious when you compare how we operate versus how machines operate. AI works purely on pattern recognition. It literally just looks at historical data to guess the next word. But humans, we possess imagination. We can conceptualize entirely new possibilities and solutions that literally do not exist anywhere in a training database.
Now, what's really interesting here is this specific idea. Memory fuels creativity because remembered knowledge becomes the building blocks of new ideas. Memory isn't just a dusty old hard drive up in your head. It's the raw material your brain uses to actually think. You need a rich memory to combine concepts into totally original inventions. It's exactly like a musician blending decades of different influences to create a brand new genre, or a doctor instantly connecting a dozen subtle symptoms from past cases to catch a super rare diagnosis. Without that internal library, you literally have no building blocks to connect.
Section 5. Collaborating to thrive. Let's move to the real professional world and see how this builds out. If AI is this powerful, and human judgment and memory are this essential, the ultimate solution is strategic collaboration. You don't want to stubbornly compete against a machine on tasks it just does better. Look at top-tier professionals. A programmer uses AI to instantly knock out tedious boilerplate code, but the human actually designs the complex system architecture. A lawyer uses AI to summarize thousands of pages of documents in minutes, but the human crafts the nuanced winning legal argument. A doctor uses AI to scan X-rays for anomalies, but synthesizes that with the patient's personal history to make the final, life-saving diagnosis. They're outsourcing the manual labor and keeping the ultimate creative judgment.
So, for those of us who really want to thrive, how do we do it? We use AI strategically. Thriving learners use it to ask better, deeper questions. They relentlessly verify the info it spits out. They connect ideas across completely different subjects. And crucially, they use tools like active recall or the Feynman technique, where you test your understanding by trying to teach a concept simply. They actively build their own internal knowledge, instead of just passively letting the AI collect answers for them like souvenirs. That's how you take back control.
To sum up this massive technological shift we're living through, the internet revolution made information wildly abundant, and now the AI revolution is making that information completely effortless. But keep this in mind. While every tech revolution changes the specific, hard skills we value, human progress itself always stems from the exact same place: curious minds who are willing to experiment, ask tough questions, and deeply learn.
So, the crucial point is this: AI can generate all the answers in the world for you, but which ones will you choose to believe? At the end of the day, deciding what's true, what's valuable, and what's real, that is a profound human judgment skill. And there's no technology out there that's ever going to replace that. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep building those mental libraries, and I'll catch you in the next one.